Hello everyone, Railgan here, and today I want to present to you my guide for Swarmhost Infestor ZvP that works against pretty much any opener the Protoss could throw at you. I will try to walk you through the game as good as I can. Important thing is that we want to open with a 2-edge style, so we go Hedge Gas Pool for our opener. And our goal is to eventually have +1 Ling upgrade, +1 melee, and then we want to add Infestors to the mix and eventually Swarmhost, and then we will decide what other units we need as we see fit. For now I'm droning up my gases. I'm sending one worker into the gas after the other, because I value minerals very highly in all my builds. It's just how I play. The opener is fairly standard for a 2-edge opener, so if you played any other matchups or any other builds, it's always this opener anyways. We go for 2 queens, 2 lings for scouting, and of course to shut down the adept. I'm sending my overlord directly to the main of the Protoss to try and find what kind of tech he's going for. I'm always a bit scared of any stalkers. I see the mothership core. If you see an early mothership core, it's usually not a stalker that is going to be following it up. After my first 2 queens, I start my Ling Speed as soon as I hit 100 gas, and I start for 2 additional queens, going up to a total of 4. Send 2 Lings over here to try and scout. He immediately killed them with a photon overcharge, so I'm sending my overlord there to find out what exactly the Protoss is trying to hide. I'm throwing down 2 creep tumors as soon as I can. Around the 3-minute 30 mark is when I start my Lair, following it up with an evolution chamber, giving him the O phase because I've seen the Dark Shrine, so I know it's going to be a DT drop, or rather an Archon drop. Around the 4-minute mark is when I build my Hatchery. If I was playing against Adept opener, I would throw down the Bane Nest right now. If I was playing against Stargate opener, I would throw down 2 spores in 1 spore in each mineral line, a total amount of 2 spores, maybe a 3rd spore somewhere over here in case I was really worried about and wanted to keep these queens alive. After my evolution chamber finished, I'm building the +1 melee upgrade. I'm starting 2 additional queens, and by the way, if you have trouble following all this, link to the total build will be in the description down below, as well as I will post a guide on Team Liquid where you can read it all up and see all the other videos that I made about this strategy. I'm building additional queens because I really want to shut down this Warp Prism hard. I don't really have an overlord here, so I can't actually find out, and he's doing a cute move right here by sending a DT over here. Once my lair finished, I built the infestation pit and started Pathogen Glands. I made quite a couple of Lings. I didn't really drone my 3rd base at all. I made an Overseer, but the Overseer is following the Warp Prism because I didn't actually realize that I have to deal with the DT over here. I kinda missed out on that. Trying to shut down the Warp Prism right now, but it's quite hard as I don't really have creep in this area. Kind of was slow with my creep spread. It happens. But I chose this replay because not only is my opponent a rather good player, I mean he's GM, not quite sure what rank, but I chose this game because not everything goes right, and I want to show you guys that the build also works if you don't play perfectly and just kinda make mistakes. If you check my bank right now, I have a lot of money, and I'm gonna spend it all on Infestors. I'm getting the Burrow upgrade as well. It's your decision when you want to get the Burrow upgrade. After a +1 melee upgrade, if I have the money to spare, I will try to get the +2 melee upgrade usually. I'm not sure if that's the smartest idea because it helps a lot with cleaning worker lines, for example, with banelings and baneling drops, stuff like that. But I think it might be better to get the missile upgrade because we eventually want to add the Swarmhost to the mix. Against DTs, it's also important to get pneumatized carapace. I'm not really getting it this game, and I think I kind of will pay for that very dearly. Our opponent is going for Phoenix right now. I noticed that, and that's why I built so many Infestors as well. Generally, you can always build Infestors. If he plays very defensive, just build Swarmhosts and go over here, drop down the Locusts, go back home. They will eliminate all the static defense that your opponent has. My Infestors are here ready and waiting. Infestors are good versus pretty much any Protoss unit composition, as you have seen if you watch any of my 3 other YouTube videos that I made about this build. where I talked a lot about the implications of Colossi, where we neural those, and carriers, we neural those, Archons, we neural those. If they go straight carrier, we can also just infest it, Terran spam them to death. There's a lot of fun stuff that you can do with this build. But Protest players will always clump up their Phoenix, so pretty easy to fungal them. We also have like a million queens, so we are pretty safe. It will be a very standard opener. It will be very standard for a Protest to follow it up with a Stargate into a lot of Phoenix, because they usually think that this build is a Mutalisk opener, because it looks very much like it, right? We have the 4 gases very early on, the quick Lair. We don't really spend our gas on any units, so it will always look like a Mutalisk opener. Once I felt comfortable, I started to get Neural Parasite, and I'm adding Swarmhosts to push across the map. I don't really have benchmarks for this, I just want to hit 3 base saturation before I start building all this stuff. Once I'm across the map, I don't really want to fight him right now because I don't have my Neural Parasite ready. He's building a lot of cannons. As we all know, this is a transition into carrier, so yes, Archon cannon into carrier. The very standard stuff that we see from a lot of Protest players. I'm throwing some locusts this way to kill the cannons and pylons rather quickly, even just a couple locusts. And I'm waiting for my next wave of locusts to be ready as I'm moving around. My Neural Parasite is almost ready. I don't have the Carapace upgrade, I should really get those. I'm also adding the Hydra then, because I realize this is most likely carriers, as I know that he went for a double Stargate into a lot of cannons. Around this time is when the Protoss usually takes their 4th base, so I'm going there to shut it down with my Lings. If he would decide to defend it heavily, I would just move in to the base over here, but it's quite hard for a Protoss to really defend against this many +2 Lings, because they deal a lot of damage rather quickly. As soon as I notice that his army is out of position, I start to make my move over here. I added quite a few Bane Nest to kill the cannons. I'm not really sure if I really need all of those, but they really help against ground forces as well. I burrow my Infestors, my Swarmhosts, so they don't get in the way in the fight, and I can easily retreat with them and build them anew. My target right now is to neural all his army. I sadly didn't notice this observer over here, so I'm going to lose a lot of my Infestors. But that's also important because I want to show you guys that you don't always need to have everything go perfectly to actually win these games. Because I'm losing my Infestors right now. My Lings are still doing a lot of damage, right? We completely shut down this base, even though our neural strategy completely went down the drain and didn't really achieve anything at all. Still have our Swarmhosts over here that will be able to throw down the locusts in the Protoss army's face. He has a lot of minerals right now in the bank, so he could technically warp in a lot of charge slots or things like that, but it's hard to keep up with everything. I don't think he has charge either. He just wanted to build more cannons, but he got shot down pretty hard over here as well, where he actually wanted to expand. So the locusts are doing a lot of damage over there. The Ling is still shutting down that base. I didn't have my queens in the fight. If I would have, I think I would have completely killed him, because they would have sniped the observer and then he's dead, right? If we just neural his entire army. But since not everything went according to plan, we're just going to have to follow it up with another big push. He still has his cyber core. A lot of Protest players will build the cyber core somewhere over here, and that will make it very, very hard for them to actually hold on against the Locust, because the Locust kill the cyber core, then he can no longer get upgrades, needs to rebuild everything and loses a lot of time. Then again, the Stargates are also quite easy to shut down with the Swarmhost, so they're going to move in and drop the Locusts. Locusts fly in, goal is kill the Stargate. The carriers have a lot of DPS, but it's not quite enough, because the Locusts just go in and kill whatever they can find. I'm not sure if I'm going to get both Stargates. I think I might not, because I didn't really stutter step, but I should have been able to if I microed the Locusts there better. At the same time, I'm of course losing my 4th base constantly to these DTs that are being really annoying, but I eventually managed to hold on. I have a lot of queens still have a lot of queens that I can use. getting additional upgrades right now, the +2 missile upgrade and the +1 carapace. I'm adding new infestors because I really need to Neural Parasite the carriers, else it might get a little bit difficult. I'm not really worried about his ground force at all, because we have Swarmhosts and Locusts that will be able to shut those down. And I think you guys might realize how this is going to end. Once the Infestors are here, you can also fungal the Interceptors, that works quite well as well. He doesn't have his third base up yet. We have a Spore here to be safe, but I think I'm gonna build another Spine and to get the gases and stuff. Of course, it doesn't work this, it usually works better than it did this game, the whole Neural Parasite stuff, but not every game can be golden. So right here we move on. I drop down the Locusts and he does the smart thing, right? Locusts are coming, so I'm just going to run away. But if he runs away, then the Locust will just kill his base again. And neural the Mothership Core, I'm not sure why I'm doing that. I was like, I'm just gonna neural stuff, I guess. I then moves down the ramp, so I see the Archons, I think I immediately try to neural those, because Archons are quite dangerous. Yeah, I neural the Archons, they also do splash damage to him. Then I neural some of the carriers and I go in and try to kill the rest of his army. And with that done, Protoss has to GG out because he's dead and we win the game. And I want to thank you all for watching this game. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the chat, post on Team Liquid, or read or watch any of the 3 other videos that I made on this about this build, about how it deals with Colossi, about how it deals with Carrier Colossi and Chargelot, Archon, Immortal Salad. Chargelot, Archon, Immortal, High Templar, where he tries to feed back. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be back tomorrow with more videos, and until then, thank you all for watching. Bye!